Hello and welcome to the IVEware version 0.3 documentation and installation guide. In this session I'm going to walk you through installation of IVEware for Windows. Before I get started, I'd like to just show you our front page of our website. This is IVEware.org, and we have the documentation as well as installation guides over on the right, and then how to run the software with Stata, RSAS, SPSS as a standalone, and so on. Today I'm going to be covering the installation guide for Windows, and so I'm going to just click on that particular link and take a look at the steps that will follow. I'll be demonstrating steps 1 and 2 today. The first option is to install for Windows, and this is probably the most common application that we see among our users, so I'll therefore walk through the screenshots of installing Windows. srclib_windows.exe is the installer, so I'll double click on that, and once it's downloaded, in the left hand corner at the bottom of the screen I would just double click on that to install, and that should open the installer, which is a series of screens that you can walk through. First I have to allow the software or publisher to make changes to my device, so I click on yes, and then that opens the setup wizard. Before I can begin the process of downloading and setup, I have to accept the license agreement and then click next. And you can install the software into the default folders which are listed here on my screen, or you can install to another area on your computer if you choose. I'm going to just show the default installation right now. The setup folder in the start menu will be SRCware, so I'll click next, and then the third thing is whether or not I want to create a desktop icon, which I do, so I allow that to happen automatically by clicking next. That will give me a summary of my installation specifications, and I'll go ahead and click install. And then finally, completing the SRCware setup wizard allows me to launch the software if I leave this box checked, which I will do. Once I click finish, you should see the program will open what's called the SRCware shell editor, and this is similar to an editor in other software packages where you can write commands and execute those commands from this editor. So I'll minimize that and then go back to my installation guide. I've now finished point 1 of the installation, and what I can do next is examine the settings.xml file, which is located here in the srclib area or folder. This file allows you to use IVEware or srclib with RSAS, SPSS, or Stata, and in order to do that correctly we have to sometimes alter the settings of this file. Therefore I'll go to Windows Explorer, and I've already opened this particular settings file, which is located in C program files in parens x86 and then srclib. Again, that may differ if you choose to install the program in a different directory than the default. And then I'll right click on the settings and open with WordPad in this example. This will bring up the actual text or code in the settings.xml file, and the key point here is that if you have RSAS, SPSS, Stata, or GNUplot installed on your computer and you want to run IVEware with one of those software packages or tools, the path has to match your installation for your computer. In this case, these paths are set up for my laptop, therefore I don't need to make any changes, but it's likely that you will if you do plan to use IVEware in this way. So for example, if your SAS is installed in C program files, SAS Home 2, SAS Foundation, but you have version 9.3, you would need to change that in this particular file and then save as settings.xml. Do not save as another name though. use the settings.xml file and just replace that. Okay, with that done, then we've just installed the software and also checked and altered, if needed, the settings.xml file. Once you have that completed, you are now ready to install the IVEware examples for Windows.zip file and extract to an appropriate directory, one of your choice. And then you would double click on the SRC desktop icon, this is point 4 now, and open a file that you want to run. The examples are pre-written for you, and you should be able to execute those without really having to do any coding at all, other than adjust the examples directory. And then also you should be able to check that you receive the same results as we do, and in other words, you should receive the same type of log and list files, and the only difference really should be in the dates of when the program was run. So I'm not going to go ahead and demonstrate points 3, 4, and 5, but we highly recommend that you go through this process before you start trying to use IVEware for your own needs. This is just a way to verify that the installation has been completed correctly and you're able to use the program as expected. That concludes my installation video, and I would just like to also point out that there are lots of examples of using IVEware with R, SAS, SPSS as a standalone, and also with Stata. So once you get IVEware installed, be sure to go through some of the documentation and take a look at the examples that we have on our website. And we hope that you enjoy using our package, and thank you for listening today.